going on, my people? This is your host, Blanche Eden with Black Trending News. This is episode 28, and we're going to be talking about, I want to say, sexism and the complete disrespect and disregard for the woman's body and her privacy. So I'm not going to make this about T.I. because it's really not about him, but he did say something that was actually taken down. I went to go listen to the podcast episode for myself on the Ladies Like Us podcast. And so I wanted to hear it from myself rather than listen to, several bloggers. It's just really, my mind started to go off the deep end. So let's talk about it, because if you really sit and think about this, it raises a whole lot of issues. I'm not going to rant rave, but I am going to say that I don't even want to play what he said, because I just think, if the podcast took it down, I definitely don't want to play it. I think it's offensive. I heard it. And, I will say this, though. I listened to the entire episode because I was listening for that part of the episode. That's how I knew it was taken down. And the interview was excellent. It was an excellent interview. I actually agreed with so much of what he said and had a newfound respect for him. So I see why they took it down, because that part of the podcast really taints it and makes it really distasteful and unattractive and very sexist and piggish. But I did manage to locate the actual part where he discussed his child's virginity, which I don't even see why the fact that she's a virgin is public information, why that even needs to be, it really just, it is, I can't, the thoughts that I'm having, I won't even say, because it's so far-fetched. I won't even taint my platform with the bullshit that's going on in my head, but it's not anything good. You know what I'm saying? I'll try to word it in a way where it's professional and not stank and offensive, but she's a beautiful young lady, and so why, to me, I just don't know where it came from. Like, where did you feel the pride? I mean, it was such a good interview, but where did that come from? That was so far left from what he was talking. He was being very productive, funny. It was a nice selection of questions, family oriented, very pleasant. That shit wasn't. That part of the interview was disgraceful. I'm so happy they took it out, because I'm just glad I was able to find it, of course, because I wanted to hear it for myself. Even though I could read it, I wanted to hear his tone and, his mannerisms while he was saying it. I think he thought it was funny. He was, chuckling. And for what? Chuckling for what? It's like, why would you, if I had this is why I didn't have a girl, because my goodness, like, if I had an 18-year-old girl, I would never, ever, ever say anywhere. I wouldn't just be going around. I wouldn't even talk about it around family that she's a virgin or that he is a virgin. Why does anybody need to know that? What is the point of that? Like, you have to think of this young lady's friends. He's all over, plastered all over the news now. And I'm so happy they took it down, because it's, first of all, it's already out there. You can't, undo it. I mean, I've listened to it on several platforms, and again, it's it's written down on different blogs. So it's just really aggravating, the lack of respect. He could have just said we had the sex talk and leave it at that. It just makes me disgusted. That's why I sound like this, because I'm tired too, but I'm just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Men don't have to go through these things. Women are so subjected to so much disgusting, so many disgusting things. Women around the world are killed because they're not virgins, and religion, which I personally will not get into, okay, because I think that's where a lot of it derives from, is this idea that women have to be a certain way or we're an abomination to something. Like, fuck you, okay, first of all. And it's just really disgusting, and it's really hurtful that a father, my father has 4 girls, he has all girls, and I know for a fucking fact, that my father would never, ever, ever say anything like that about any of his fucking daughters. My dad is sarcastic, and, we joke around, and, we joke about sex and relationships and stuff like that. But this is on a whole nother level. He literally went on a public podcast and displayed that his daughter was a virgin, and then described in detail their doctor's visits. He slaps a sticky note on her door, 9:30 gyno appointment. Like, what? And where's mom? Not my business. But it's just like, what? Is this the norm? Because this is, I don't think this is norm. I don't recall having these types of conversations as a teenager with any of my friends. Like, oh, my dad is, whatever. It was just too much information. But in a way, it was like, it brings awareness again to the fact that women are killed because they're not virgins when they have sex, or they don't bleed, or the stereotype and this idea that all women are the same, everybody's body is the same, and men know everything about us. And if our bodies don't succumb to their thoughts and their fantasies, then we deserve to die or be stoned or some other dumb bullshit. So, or embarrassed on the radio by our fathers. It's the same shit. I feel like she was stoned in a way, verbally. It's not right. And I'm glad they took it down out of respect for her and her damn fucking life. She has to live the rest of her life with everybody knowing that she's a virgin. Now grown men know she's a virgin. Strangers, people who don't even know her at school, college. What the fuck? Like when she walks around, people are like, oh, you're a virgin? Like, the fuck did anybody need to know that for? This is what I mean. Have a private conversation with your kids. Lastly, I'm going to make this very short. Because I have no focus in this conversation. I did not plan this, take notes or anything. I do not want to be rambling for 20 minutes about this shit. But I will say that the internet is just like, it could be such a devastating place. And I think that he used his platform, and I hope that he's sorry. Like, hopefully there's like remorse. I don't know, but my God, like that's the worst. That is the worst for everybody who you don't even know. Her followers. It's just like, what did anybody really ask? Nobody asked, is your daughter a virgin? Nobody said that. All he said was, did you have the sex talk with your girls? Because they were talking about family, and he just came out of like fucking North Africa with the fucking news. It was just like, what the fuck are you, like, where did this come from? What are you, like, did you think it was a good story? Did you really think that was a funny story? And the girls on the show are laughing, and ladies like us are laughing at this shit. It's not funny, and it wasn't funny. That's why they took it down, because cancellation coming right up your ass, up your alley. I don't know the young ladies, and I'm sure they're nice, and they maybe didn't mean anything by it, but laughing at that story, if I was in the room, I just would have been silent, before I would have been cackling like a fucking hyena. It's not funny at all. Maybe at the time it was funny, but that shit's not funny. Because if it was you and your dad talking about the status of your vagina on a public fucking radio podcast, it's so disrespectful, so thoughtless. He didn't even stop himself. Like, I mean, maybe I was like, maybe he would have stopped himself and said, you know what, I don't think I should talk about this, or let's cut, let's not even include this. But this shit got out. This conversation actually made it past editing, and nobody thought to say, this is inappropriate for this young lady's business to be out here. She's 18. No matter what age she would have been. No matter what age she would have been, it's completely inappropriate that anybody needs to know that she's a fucking virgin, or she's having sex, or not. Or that you want the doctor to check her hymen, and she gracefully gives you her permission to know her sexual status. Ugh, like, I am just like, I have never, I don't know. I hope the family is all right. You know, I feel like it's something. I think usually I do not talk about shit if I don't think it's like a big deal. But it's not about T.I. It's about the fact that women are just blatantly disrespected and laughed at by other women and by men, by their own fathers. My dad's not perfect. I'm not saying my dad is perfect, but I'm saying that was completely uncalled for, and I am so happy they took it down. They better had, because it would have caused serious repercussion, you know. Like I said, the interview was excellent, and that part was just, that's why it's so disappointing, because it was such a good interview. I was upset that I listened to it, I didn't hear it, but I was like, you know what, this was it was a good interview. He sounds intelligent, but where the fuck did he get off doing that? It was so weird. It was like it was done purposely. I'm sorry. I am sorry. The way the conversation went, how it was intelligently delivered and proposed, and then that was either fucking media stunt. It just seems so far left. I couldn't even, when I didn't hear it originally on the actual podcast, when I listened today for the first time, I thought, did they just make this up? Did he really say that? I actually thought that, because I heard the interview and I was like, wow, that was such a good, pleasant interview to listen to. Did he really say that? I had to go and check. So I had to go and listen to another, YouTuber that I follow, just to make sure that he actually said this, and he actually did. And I can't understand how a man of that caliber and intelligence would say something like that about his own child and think that it was funny. And then the women on the show are laughing. I was finished. Have a good night.